I need to weave my way up there.
You haven't even had a drink. Why should you?
I've had 2 of those things that Shelley mixed together.
Oh, that means you're...
Translation, she said, I don't know how to mix this. What does it mean when 1 ounce of this, you use 2 ounces of the other?
Oh, yes.
I was like,
she said it
well,
was 2 to 1.
I was like, then 1 is 2. Like, it's double. So she was like, so if you did 2 ounces, if you did 2 cups of the vodka, I was like, you would double it. You would need 4 cups of the mixer. And she was like,
why don't you do it? Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Conversion with Ginny is always fun.
What's 2 times 5 sevenths? Sorry.
Well,
Go up there.
fire!
Look,
Fire!
you're just being Mr. Boss a lot, aren't you?
How does the leprechaun track work?
Well, what does that sign say?
Go ahead, keep out.
Because why did you do that?
Because leprechauns are so basic.
A blonde, a brunette, and a redhead. They rob a bank. And it's terrible.
They rob a bank?
Yes, good Irish girls, but they rob a bank because they need the money. And so they are running from the cops. And they're like, oh, they're going to catch us. And then they see a barn off in the far distance, and they say, we'll go hide in that barn. They'll never find us. And so they go into the barn, and they see bales of hay, and they see a little area for tools, and they see some old potato sacks. And so one girl says, well, I'm going to hide in the hay. And that was the brunette. And the redhead, she goes, I'm going to hide underneath the tools. And the blonde says, I'm going to hide in the potato sacks. And so the police come in, they say, we saw them in here, they went in here. And so they come past the brunette, and she says, and they go, oh, we don't want to go, and we're looking in the haystack because that's where the snake is. We don't want to mess with that. And so they look at the tools, and they hear, meow, meow, and they say, oh, no, that's a cat. We don't want to mess with that. And then they get over to the potato sacks, and the blonde goes, potatoes.
What?
good try. You want to hear my joke? The one I said before?
No.
So, how many Irishmen does it take to change a light bulb? 2. 1 to change the light bulb, and the other to hold the beers. Hey! I'm sorry. I walked in, and I immediately thought, did they get a cat? It smells like kitty litter. Why does it smell like kitty litter? It's cabbage. Nasty, delicious tasting, nasty smelling cabbage.
There's this Irish couple, Seamus and Mary Catherine. And Seamus is out at the pub one night, and they decide they're going to have a toasting contest. Seamus stands up and he says, this toast is to my wife and the 30 years I've spent between her legs. Decided he's won the toasting contest. So the next day he sees his wife, Mary Catherine, and she asks how his night was. And he said, oh, it was fine. I won the toasting contest last night. She said, oh, that's wonderful, Seamus. What was your toast? He said, oh, well, it was to my wife and the 30 years I've spent kneeling beside you at church. And she goes into town and she sees some friends and they say, oh, you know, your Seamus won the toasting contest last night. And she says, yes, I know. I'm just a little confused because he hates to do it and he never comes.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Nobody.
Nobody who?
Hallie who?
Okay. An Irishman walks into a bar with an ostrich and a cat. And he goes up to the bartender and he says, I'll have a beer for me and a beer for the ostrich and a whiskey for the cat. Then a few minutes later, the second round, the ostrich walked up and said, I'll have a beer for me, a beer for the man, and a whiskey for the cat. Then the third round came and the bartender said, hey, cat, are you buying the third round? And the cat said, bugger off! And he said to the man, why do you hang out with this cat? And an ostrich. He said, well, one day I was coming out to the pub and I ran into my fairy godmother. She asked me if I could have one wish, what would it be? And I asked for a long-legged bird and a tight pussy.
And I never will play the wild rover no more. And it's no, nay, never. No moon, at the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. With the pipes upon your shoulders, at the rising of the moon.
Why do I know that?
Sisters, sisters, sisters.
One of those great Irish ballads. I've always liked it.
Oh yeah, we know so
No,
many.
Danny boy.
So everybody in your family.
I know the first 3 words.
Yeah, very, very
Sisters
sorry.
Arm is not
If we
Irish.
don't sing, I don't know
not,
anybody in our family doesn't sing.
I
No.
don't remember it.
Not an Irish song, but we can sing it.
We're just trying to remember the words. We're trying to remember the words.
Okay,
Okay, good
I
luck.
know what else is remembered.
Good luck to us.
Good luck with this. All right.
It's pretty, even if we don't know the words. Go.
Let's pretend we're riding on a kite. Let's imagine we're flying through the air.
We'll ascend until we're out of sight. Light as paper, we'll soar.
We'll fly high beyond the break of day. Dart about, sail on like windies.
Here we go.
Floating far from the shore.
Some things were meant to be. The tide moving fast and free.
The sun on a silver sea.
A sky that's bright and blue. And some things will never die.
The
thrill of
our magic ride. The love that I feel inside for you.
We'll climb high beyond the break of day.
Sleep on stardust and dine on bits of moon.
You and I will find the Milky Way.
We'll climb.
We'll be mad.
We'll be mad
and explore. We'll recline aloft upon the breeze. Dart about, sail on with windy ease. Pass the days, still lonely as we please. That's what living is for.
Sure.
Some things were meant to be. The tide moving endlessly. The way it takes hold of me. No matter what I do.
And some things will never die. The promise of who you are.
Your memories when I am far from you. All my life I've lived for loving you. Let me go now.
God, that's over. I haven't done it in like 3 years.
Yeah, well over a year.
2 years.
2 years. Yeah, we've not done that in.
Oh!
I'm bound away, cross the wide mystery.
That was very good.
So impressed.
I don't even know the words.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know the words to my own song.
Put my freaking dress.
Or, no, it's like freakum.
It's the freaking dress on.
Oh, the
Freaking dress on.